All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is. And right here, we actually have a phenomenal independent artist that's taking the music industry by storm, not only in the United States, but also now in Canada. We have YT, also known as YT the Official, right here live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Good, good. How is everybody doing tonight? Hopefully well.
Oh man, I gotta say, down here in Canada, best we can possibly be, man. Just enjoying the last couple days of the warm weather that we unfortunately have.
Oh, you gotta love it, right? You gotta love it.
I definitely agree, man. You gotta love it, man. You gotta enjoy the summer while it's here, especially Canadian weather, man, because that snow will hit us like no tomorrow. And I know the Canadian listeners that are listening, they're like, you shut the hell up.
See, and me being a Wyoming guy in the United States, we actually relate very, very closely to Canadian weather. We have all 5 seasons sometimes in one day, so totally understand.
But also, YT, I know you're a very busy individual, man, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, but I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far, and I have to ask, what originally just inspired you to pursue a career within the music industry initially?
Started with freestyling with my best friend, Tony the Melodic Monster, or Tony Maciel. It progressed from just freestyling to me getting locked up, getting sober through doing music through house arrest, and replacing habits with positive habits. I ended up going on my first national tour in 2019 with Scum and Ross Williams, which was kind of like a Suicide Boys genre and a horrorcore type genre, to shed light into a darker scene for kind of what I went through with my addiction and to vent for myself. And, you know, a lot of people were getting insight just from me posting freestyle videos, so I figured dive all the way in, you know.
And also as well, man, on in February 15th of 2016, you actually released the 7-track EP titled Difficult Choices. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this earlier released project, and of course, is it still available to be streamed or purchased today?
Yes, absolutely. That was actually my first CD I've ever released on digital distribution. I released that on my birthday, which is February 15th. Kind of like a little birthday present to myself. It was a really, really deep track album, or you could say EP, whatever you want to call it. And it was really deep into my addiction, me being incarcerated, and just my struggle with addiction and relating back to people without worrying about what people think. You know what I mean? Everybody's always worried about judgment, and you know, this was me just totally escaping from that judgment. And I moved forward and started really, really pushing out some deep, deep tracks. But yeah, Difficult Choices was one of my favorites of all times, still to this date.
And I gotta say as well, it definitely is a phenomenal early on album, man. You can listen to that and then listen to your newer music, and you can really actually see the growth in your craft as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And also as well, as we talked about a few moments ago, you know, you actually have overcame addiction and whatnot. But one thing I have to touch on, if you don't mind me asking, man, because obviously addiction is everywhere in all different countries, provinces, states, you know, everywhere across the world. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about your story, and of course, what is some great advice you can actually give individuals that are fighting addiction and trying to overcome it, just like you did, just like you have.
Absolutely. Yeah, at 6 years old, I went through, my parents went through a terrible divorce. Everything was great in my life, you know, like the, whatever, suburban family. Well, everything pretty much went to shit. My dad had mental illness, bipolar, ended up moving to Wisconsin and going to a mental hospital for his bipolar while my mom worked 3 jobs trying to keep up. Being a kid that had to move to the trailer park trying to keep up with, you know, income and struggles, as a lot of people deal with. I just dealt with what I could, you know. My mom was working all the time. I wanted to have friends, of course, and the only people that were really around that wanted to hang out with me were doing drugs. So I went all for it, regardless of being cool or whatever you want to, call it. And then it all spiraled out of control. I mean, I went to 9 rehabs. Did probably 7 years locked up total since I was probably 11 years old. First time I ever did methamphetamine and hard drugs was 9 years old. I walked in on an individual, and it happened to be a sister's friend who was older, and they didn't want me to, be a rat or anything, so of course, you do what you got to do. After, I let my addiction really set in, and I got super bad. I got into a really deep codependent relationship, started running all over the country doing drugs, no regard for myself or anybody, just kind of thinking I was bulletproof. Ended up overdosing, went into a huge spiral and turned myself in on the run because I ran away from probation for a year and a half, all over the country, just bouncing on the Greyhound bus, trying to find myself, I guess, And I finally think I did after, that overdose. I turned myself in. My ex cheated on me. I realized that relationship was nothing but addiction and, just overzealous times, everybody thinking the party life is great, and then when everybody, sobers up, everybody's gone. So, I turned myself in. I got help. Finally now, I'm making my family proud. I've released, albums. I've been on radio stations, I'm a tour. I've done it for myself. I've already made it. Any way I can give back to people or relate, and even if it's just somebody reaching out, struggling to talk, I'm always open. But that's really what I'm all about. Is just having a good time, wanting to, push creativity to anybody. Because positive habits are huge. Art is amazing, and that's pretty much my story, a little summarized,
And I gotta say, man, it sounds honestly like you've been through hell and back, man, but you definitely found the light, if that makes sense, man. And I'm just glad to hear that you're actually still here with us, and I get the opportunity to speak with you this evening, man. So definitely, congratulations on that sobriety, man. It sounds like you're definitely doing the right things.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a huge blessing just to be able to be breathing today. That's it's an understatement, to be 100% honest with you. Me and my beautiful wife are having our first child October 4th. Supposed to, any time. But, we just went to the appointment today. So that's another amazing blessing. I'm sober. I'm getting ready to drop, I don't know when yet, but a 2-disc album I'm going to start talking about soon.
And also, well, going back as well, when you actually mentioned you went on your first national tour in 2019, I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this opportunity, and of course, what is one of your most fondest memories you shared on this tour? Because of course, hitting a national tour, you guys hit multiple dates, so there must have been some memorable moments that you had the opportunity to share with not only the artists, but the fans themselves.
Oh, absolutely. It was amazing. Total culture shock, to be honest, coming from Wyoming. And I've been city to city, and I've done one-offs and, littler shows. Well, Scum, I actually met him, Ivan. He's a great guy. He runs LSD Records in Denver, if the listeners didn't know. He's an amazing person. He does a lot of gore-hop, horrorcore style music. Would give me the opportunity, he offered a tour to me, with Roz Dilliams, who's worked with Suicide Boys and a lot of other really big names. And of course, I was interested. They gave me a good buy-on price, which with not having a name, you got to put your money where your mouth is. You know what I'm saying? Just out of all my trouble, off probation, just eating my deferral, And I was like, yeah, it's time to branch out. It's time. I told my job, I said, hey, you guys are going to give me these 32 days off or I quit. Like, I'm putting my notice in now, but I'm going to need it off unpaid because my job's real, sticklers about, unpaid time off. I don't like that. You get a certain amount of time off a year, that's it. So, anyways, we went all for it. But my favorite memories, the guys built up amazing things with us. Nairo the Madman was on the tour with me as another support. He's actually missing in action right now. Different story, whatever. But Roz and Scum really adapted to teaching me the merch game. Their guy Lynch, who is their merch guy, just pretty much taught me the ropes with everything. I went from 2 basic shirts to I got jerseys, shorts, koozies. Pretty much anything you can think of. Shot glasses. You can hit that at ytmusic.us. But it was amazing to really see, and it was nerve-wracking, and accepting to see that all these other artists have the same anxiety, the same stress over, oh, I'm going to hit the stage, and even though they've been doing it for 26 years, they still have that same jitter. We're all human. So, it was just very, very empowering. All the fans, I think even the best one I could say was probably East St. Louis at Pop was amazing. The people were way down to earth. Everybody was, more my style, upbeat, could relate to my story, and it fit, you know what I mean? So I'd say that was probably my most empowering moment on tour. Of course, I had the crazy party moments, just drinking too many shots at a time, But everything's good in moderation, you know what I'm saying? In that moment.
And also as well, man, on March 15th of 2021, you were featured on Jay Touch's single titled Murder Party. I was wondering, how did yourself and Jay get connected? And of course, what was it like just collaborating with him on that particular project?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I actually met Jay Touch in Salt Lake City. He became a really big fan of mine, and he's known Scum for a long time. He met me on tour, kind of showed my face, and then ever since, I'm pretty much a Salt Lake local. They love me. I can go there anytime, and I get massive amounts of love. It's shout out Salt Lake City, But yeah, Jay Touch and me, we got really close. He started offering to do work with me. He's like, I want to make music, but I don't, I don't make beats. I really don't push too much. And I said, well, I can do specials. I got producers. I have artists myself. I have tons of friends that do music that are amazingly talented from this area, which is really surprising that people say from Wyoming. Well, anyways, we got hooked up. We'd done Murder Party. My buddy Jay Crook on that track that raps with me at a party, I think when I was 12 years old, he paid me $20 to freestyle for my first time. And I was terrified. But I did it. And, ever since, I really, opened up to people in general. But that song was huge for me. It was awesome. It was almost like relating to an actual, scenic murder party and trying to create that theatrical event for everyone.
And I have to ask, do you guys actually have more plans to collaborate together? Because I got to say, you guys doing that song, you guys had such phenomenal chemistry, man. It almost just seemed like you guys have been working alongside each other for years, man. Such a phenomenal song.
Thank you. Actually, my buddy Jay Crook just got out of rehab. Thank God, he's doing great. Everybody slips up. So I have to keep, I had to keep my space a little bit. But now, yeah, we're actually supposed to get together. We're working on, we have Dead and Undead that we did with J-Touch as well. And we are working on Dead and Undead 2 with Scum. And then we have more coming in the works as well, a full EP that me and Jay Crooker are working on. So that should be, hopefully within the next 8 months, you know, give or take how we work.
And also as well, aside from the music here for a moment, you also actually created your own sick sauce that is actually pizza sauce. I was wondering what actually made you decide to actually launch this brand of sauce, and of course, where can we actually buy ourselves a jar of it today?
So the sick sauce is actually in works for the perfect sauce because I'm so particular with my hot sauce. I have a hot sauce addiction more than any other addiction that I've ever had. I have a whole shelf of hot sauce. So pretty much, Sick Sauce was the album or compilation, you could say, because there's so many features on it. Really came from my vision of I love pizza and hot sauce as a snack, almost as I love music to me being, you know, my sick sauce. So it was almost like my own metaphorical album, I guess you could say. And I tried to get the perfect hot sauces for it, but it did not work out in time, unfortunately. But I actually did. I do got custom pizza boxes and custom merch boxes that are only, I think they're like $55 right now per shipping, whatever shipping is internationally or wherever we're sending it. But that comes with a shirt, a keychain that is PVC, all rubber, nice, holographic sticker, the album, and a poster. So it's all hooked up.
And I gotta say as well, that is actually such a phenomenal thing as well, because not a lot of artists really have that mentality to actually make something like a pizza sauce. A lot of artists just have strictly the shirts, the hats. But honestly, at the end of the day, some people don't wear hats, some people don't like certain brands of T-shirts. But with pizza sauce, everybody loves pizza, and if you don't love pizza, you're just not human.
Exactly. And that's what I went exactly for it. And I figured if I could go with a full pizza box merchandise box with it and go feed into the whole, you know, like Pizza Hut or Domino's or wherever you go, you know, Godfathers, you know, I mean, you gotta adapt to just what's fun, what's, you know, that's what we're all about in this day and age anyway, is being vocal and, you know, being yourself no matter who you are, what you're about, or what your sexuality is, you know. So yeah, I mean, letting loose and just being you. That's what my sick sauce was all about.
And also as well, on August 31st of 2022, you actually released a song KO featuring Tone, the Melodic Monster, that's also featured on your debut album from 2016 as well. I was wondering, how did yourself and Tone originally get connected though? And of course, where can our listeners actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of that record today?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So Tone the Melodic Monster, Tone is actually my best friend of all time. Met him in kindergarten. We weren't very, very close until I think 11 years old on the bus. My buddy, before he passed away, Andrew Simkin, was sitting on the bus with me, and he was talking shit to Tone, who happened to be a bigger, heavier guy, and he called him fat, and my buddy Andrew really couldn't fight. So, you know, my buddy Tone, he was really big, he stood up, and went after Andrew. I, you know, jumped in the middle, and I ended up getting my ass kicked terribly. But it built a huge friendship. Since then, like I said, me and Tone, we created Tone, or Big Tone and White Boy Slim is what it was before he realized there was a famous Big Tone at that moment. We went all through that. I think we dropped Doing It for Fun, which was a mixtape, and turned out really good. We did Rising of the Fallen, which was really good, and then we ended up splitting off and going our own solo ways. Due to my addiction, I relapsed on meth, Kind of blew the whole artistry thing away, let him totally down. So he kind of went out on his own, which was good. You know, you gotta be independent, but allow your friends to be independent, everybody to be their own person. Otherwise, the shit doesn't work, in my opinion. So we clicked together. We used our best friend heads together, and he introduced me to my producer now, Rick Lucero, of DARK Productions, and we took it by storm. We released Test Me, which was actually my first music video I ever did. We did it Ghost Town in Wyoming, which was pretty crazy. It's super haunted, and turned out pretty cool. And then just ever since, we really just expanded and created. But then, he has always done his own thing as well, in his own aspect, with his own melodic sound, and I really respect that.
And I gotta say as well, it definitely is a phenomenal song, man. I actually sat back and listened to KO, and I'm telling you, man, such a phenomenal song. You can definitely tell that you guys knew each other for a long time.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and we just had a really good time with that one. I brought it to him. Rick gave me the beat. I came up with the chorus, and then I dropped the first verse, and I was like, bro, what do you think of this? And, he has a different cadence than me with, he likes more Pokemon. He has more references to, Kano, and certain other things, while I'm over here, referencing Aladdin and certain other people, just for metaphorically speaking, which I think for listeners was really cool, just creative-wise, you know what I mean?
And I have to ask, what is next for yourself, YT the Official? Is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? We still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
Absolutely, yes. I'd like to shout out the new thing that is dropping September 30th. Me and Tone the Melodic Monster are dropping Let Us Raps. It is a full EP. It's a surprise, and it is coming hot. It is a bunch of smoky, stoner-ass vibes where you can just kick back, chill, party, kind of like your vibes with Flip Cup, beer pong, all good times. And that is, like I said, coming September 30th. You can get any of this at ytmusic.us. It'll be on all streaming platforms. And I will have it on my Instagram at yttheofficial. And follow me back. Follow me, I'll follow you back. Talk to me, I'll talk to you back. If you're struggling with addiction, always reach out. I'm not huge into like the fangirling thing, but if you have an issue or you just want to talk, man, I'm always there. So, yeah, definitely that's what's next.
And also, YT, this is a time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything YT the Official if they're not already doing so.
Absolutely. You can check me out at The Official YT on Facebook, YT The Official on Instagram, YT The Official on Twitter, ytmusic.us. That is my website. And like I said, shout out DARK Productions, Rick Lucero, Tone the Melodic Monster, everybody I've been working with. I got tons and tons of new music coming out, a 2-disc album. And just shout out to the listener and the addict that is doing it and making it today.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, YT, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM airways, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege being able to chop it up with you this evening, man. Definitely looking forward to doing it again, but for now, definitely have yourself a phenomenal night, and of course, enjoy the weekend that's coming up as well.
Thanks. The honor and pleasure is all mine, and you enjoy your weekend as well.
Hey, I most definitely shall try, man. Thank you so much. We definitely shall talk soon.
All right, man. Peace up. One love.